Hi everyone, welcome to the last video from this World of Flowers page. It's sort of floral ribbon. As I said in yesterday's video, we aren't going to be doing this one right away, I don't think. I'm just going to finish this one and make a little series out of this part. And this I will do at some point as well. So we did some of the greenery from this little patch yesterday. Just so that the video was up to time. I didn't do the leaves on this one though, and I think they would be the same colour as all of the rest of this, which I think was the 579, the dark olive, was it dark olive? 579, olive dark, sorry. So I'm just going to pop those through, so darker here and lighter to the tip, and then there we go, and then we can move on to the main florals. Now this one's quite large, so I'm thinking quite carefully about the colour, looking at the other colours we've made for our larger flowers sort of along the centre here. So we've got orange and blue, and we've got yellow, and we have got a red, reddy pink, and another sort of pink. So I'm thinking we haven't got a really large purpley flower, so that's what I think I'm going to do, sort of violet. So actually going to start with the lavender, which is our sort of mid-purple colour. It's number 62, and that's how I'm going to do the leaves, petals. I can hear a droning noise outside. It sounds weirdly like a lawnmower. There's nobody that close to here that has a lawn. I'm going to try and fade it a bit towards the tip. It's very weird. I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, I suppose it might be the street cleaner. It's getting closer. It must be coming along the road. Gosh, it's really loud now. Yeah, it could be the street cleaner. I have to ask my son. He sits right by the window. Now he often tells me off for being nosy and refuses to nose out of the window, but I think with the sound of this, it's so noisy, he would look. And they do move very slowly, the street cleaners, but we haven't had one up here for ages. But it's odd. Anyway, so we haven't had one for ages, and suddenly we've had several at once, if it is one. I don't know. Now these leaves underneath I feel should be a little darker. If you want, you could use your violet instead, because I've used violet here, it's really quite close, so I'm going to keep this lighter. I know what it could be. Could be the drain lorry blocking all the drains in the centre of the road. Lovely, what a pleasant job. Poor people who have to do these jobs. I'm very glad that I do the job that I do. Get to sit at home making videos for you. And you guys have been really generous lately, and I really appreciate it, sending little donations in my Ko-fi shop. I try to keep making you new things so that you get something, so you can choose some things to take as a reward, as a sort of thank you for your donations. It makes such a difference. You know, it means that if it keeps going, I'll be able to not worry about having to find a job doing something else. Because if husband cuts his, well, when husband cuts his hours, if he doesn't curb his spending habit, this is 36, then I might have to indigo blue. I have to find something that pays more money. But at the moment, all is good. I have spoken to him about it. He finds it really hard. It's part of his ADHD, which I didn't realise. So I've been talking about it so much, but it's just in my head at the minute. That sort of impulsivity and stuff is because it's apparently a lack of dopamine in the brain, which means that you need to get a buzz from doing things in life. Now, sadly, it means a lot of people with it will get into drugs or things like that, which is really sad. But fortunately, husband, although he has taken drugs in the past, when he lived in Amsterdam, so it's fully legal. I'm gonna do the sea. No, we did the sea green there. I just quite fancy a bluey green. I think we're gonna have to go with the regular green, the 5. Yeah, so it was fully legal. So that was okay. He's it wasn't something that he felt like doing. I think he's not a lawbreaker, you know. He does things that sometimes takes risks, but not breaking the law or anything that could harm anything or anybody, which is good. And even with alcohol, which apparently can sort of give you a bit of a buzz, he used to drink a bit more when we first met, but not to excess. And you know, just when we sort of would go out on a Friday night, you know, we'd go to the pub and he'd have a few drinks, maybe 2 or 3 Guinness, something like pints. But it sort of wasn't, you know, anything too bad. And he never got into smoking or gambling. Gambling a little bit in that he used to buy lottery tickets. I stopped him doing it right away because when I first met him, within, that wasn't that soon, but he had a bit of he wanted to make his house look really tidy because he knew that I was a tidy person and he wasn't. So he tidied everything up. This is number 52 sap green, and got some sort of storage boxes and just put it all in there. And then he had to pay his car tax, and he couldn't find the letter because he tidied it away, and he was distraught. And so I said, look, don't worry, I'm coming to visit you for the weekend. I will help you and we'll properly organise it all. So we took everything back out of the storage boxes, and I basically separated it into sections of bills and bank statements and things, letters and things. I put them all into date order, so it was all organised. He didn't have that much stuff, luckily. Not like we do now. This is 21, which is the light rose, and I'm going to use it for these petals. And found a lot of interesting things as well. We found the thing he needed, which was great, but found things like lottery tickets that he'd bought that were 6 months out of date, so no longer valid, which could have been winning numbers for all we knew, but he used to buy them and then not check the numbers. Or cheques that he'd been gifted for birthday or Christmas presents that were more than 6 months old, so again, not valid, out of date. I even found one that he'd been given by a grandparent that had since passed away, you know, and those sorts of things, very much signs of him having ADHD, but wasn't something that I'd ever heard of or knew. I just thought was part of him, and it was fine, you know. It didn't worry me, but he used to find some things rather distressing. This number 20, like missing out on those opportunities of having that money, you know, was rather upsetting. I mean, obviously it wasn't mine, so it didn't, for me, it didn't have the same impact. And of course, what it did do, though, helping him with that, made me realise that he needed to be helped when it came to managing things like that. So I just did it, and it wasn't something that I worried about. Minded, this is 61, which is the red violet or dark mauve. It's got 2 names, this one. You know, I took over handling, making sure the bills got paid, finances, tucking away money into savings accounts when he wasn't looking, and things like that, which he thoroughly appreciates me doing. This is 222 salmon. I'm going to do these tulips in salmon. I think it's a bit weird, but I just haven't used it yet, and I think they'll look pretty. I'm trying to make them a bit lighter to the tips, but with such a colour like this, it's a little bit tricky for it to show up. Yeah, so he appreciates the fact that I used to open savings accounts and then put money into them in joint names, and then it was out, he couldn't see it. He knew that I'd done it, he didn't know how much was there, he couldn't see it, he couldn't spend it because it wasn't in the current account. So I'd do that sort of thing, and that worked very nicely. Still does. Did that this morning with some money, 550. Pale green. I'd got some payments from my Ko-fi shop. It's obviously my money, but everything in our household is joint, and I popped them through to my savings account before they barely touched the current account, before I tuck them away for the future. Now I'm trying to think of what colour to do these, sort of finishing it off. I'm thinking orange and yellow might work, because yeah, although we've got salmony there, maybe just yellow. I'm going to try quite a lemony yellow. This is 12. I think it is the lemon yellow. Sorry, my voice is going. And do that on the petals. I'm probably not going to fade it because it's needs quite a lot of layers to show up. Yeah, I'm going to go and get a drink. My throat's been quite sore. It's getting sore again, so I shall stop in a minute and go and get a drink. There we go. Oh, don't forget that last one. It's going to get most upset. There's a train. There's train strikes this week. Fortunately, children aren't at... I'm going to look. That was a lemon. That's the lemon. I'm going to do this one. 10. This is the light yellow. I'm going to do this one for these. Yeah, fortunately children aren't at uni this week, so the train strikes haven't affected us, but tomorrow I've got to take one son to the hospital, and I'm just hoping there'll be a train. We can always get the bus, but I don't like the bus very much. This is number 1, yellow. I'm going to use it for the centre. Yeah, not a fan of bus. It's yeah, a bit slow, etc. There we go. There's that little bit done. Won't quite as long as other videos, but I am going to show you the whole thing, which if you've been colouring along you would have seen, but if not you won't. Yeah, there we go. So there is that whole thing done. And what was that? 1, 2, 5 videos, so that was rather nice. 5, roughly 15 minutes, that's just over an hour. So if you did the other side as well, it would probably, the other side looks a bit more detailed, a little bit more. Now background is an interesting thought, which you might be thinking, what should I do for the background? There's so much space around the flowers. Well, I'll talk you through what I think the options are. You could, if you can draw lots more flowers, more ribbons of flowers crossing through or around, just expand this floral area if you want. You could get some pastel blue and put a sky behind it, or green, like a grass behind it. You could draw some trees or some grass, some fairies, anything like that, anything you like. Write some words, write a poem. Use a stencil and some distress ink to do some sort of patterns. You could just splodge a sort of multicoloured stripe of pastel over it, or you could do what I'm going to do. Nothing. I'm just going to leave it plain. Sometimes when you've got something multicoloured, I think it's far easier to leave it plain because you just cannot match it. But so I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm really happy with it. I don't think it needs a background, so there we go. But thank you all for watching. Oh, I will show you the whole page just so you can actually see how it sits. There's a lot of white paper, take that one away, you can see better. Straighten it up like that. Yeah, there's a lot of white paper, but as I say, I'm happy with it like that. So thank you for watching, if you've watched and coloured along. Or I was going to say, and I forgot, that this one here where I drew in the black, that works actually a lot better if you use a pen. I had thought about it afterwards because when I did it, I couldn't really see it. I think the light was shining off the page. And I remembered after that normally when I do that, I use a black pen, so it looks really similar to the black ones that are there. So I fill in the ones that are there with black pen, the little circles, and then draw some more in again with black pen, like a fine liner. So that makes them stand out a little bit more. So I forgot to tell you that when I remembered it after I made that video. But that's all. Thank you for watching. Yeah, hope you have a super day and happy colouring.